Good morning everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I have a brand new series coming out and it's called Fill Your Freezer Friday. I'm really looking forward to bringing this out once a week so it's able to help me and to help you as well with some meal inspiration. I'll be filming a range of meals every week like snacks, dinners, baking for school lunch boxes, making sandwiches, things like that. Just things that you can fill your freezer up the following week and you've got some meals or snacks and things like that for the week. So we can get a variety of things in the freezer for weeks to come. They could be meals that are either previously cooked and then just put in and then you can just reheat and eat, or they could be just freezer prep meals like dump bags and things like that that you do have to just take out and cook. But it's still easy enough that it's all been prepared and frozen. So this video will come out weekly every Friday. So if I do it on a Friday, I think that, you know, maybe the weekend you might be able to get some ideas that you can cook some meals for the following week. Just things like that. It does take a while to get your freezer up to a point where you don't have to cook every night. So I'm trying not to eat the foods at the moment that I have frozen from this video. I haven't really eaten any of it except for some of the banana cake for the kids' lunch boxes. So if I do it that way, I jump ahead of the game here and have some meals for when I don't have to cook every night. It'd be nice to get to a point where at least 3 nights a week I don't have to cook. So that's what I'm sort of aiming for. My main focus for this video is to get a range of goodies for school lunch boxes, such as baking and also organising sandwiches and things like that for the school lunch boxes, as well as meals for the family, and also desserts. I find desserts a really good one to freeze too. It doesn't take much to organise a dessert and you can pop it in the freezer. But I find to get a variety of meals, I have to do this weekly. I have tried it in the past monthly, many years ago before we had children, when we were working all day long, didn't have time to cook dinner and we're doing 2 jobs each. We used to get home and start another job. I used to cook from Saturday morning, I used to cook all the way through till Sunday. So it was like a weekend of cooking for me and my husband. But that was well worth it because that whole week I didn't have to worry about food, and if we were getting, you know, healthy foods and things like that, it was all organised for us. I did continue doing this a little bit more when the kids were born because it was getting harder to cook at certain hours and you were feeling hungry during the day, and if you didn't cook something to freeze, I was just grabbing like junk food. So I was doing that, but I did get to a stage where I stopped doing it and it started getting even more hectic when the kids got older. And so now I just really want to get back into this system again, and every week bring out a video for you to give you some ideas, but it has to be done weekly. I find that if I don't do it weekly, I don't know, it's probably going to be a bit too much for me to do it monthly at the moment. To do it weekly, I'll get a good rotation of a variety and change as well, which is really important with the kids because they don't like eating the same food all the time. And I just want to get a lot of variety in the freezer before we start eating it all. So yeah, it is quite difficult. It's difficult to sort of cook a meal that you want to freeze and then the family sort of want it that night, and then you're saying to them, no, you're not allowed to have it this night because I'm going to freeze this meal and you're going to have a different meal. So it's yeah, it's a little bit difficult that way. So today's video was taken on the school holidays and I wanted to do it all in one day. I just wanted to cook all the meals in one day. I find it a lot easier, less washing up, all that sort of thing, and it's all set out. I had to do it over a few days because the children were at home on the holidays and there was no way I was going to be able to cook these meals all in one day. It just was not going to happen. But now they're at school, it's going to be a lot more easier for me. I'll be able to do the videos hopefully in one day and have them up every Friday for you. So this is the first time in a long time that the kids now are at school. Both children are at school all day. Now I have a lot more time to create more meal ideas and also to create more content for you all to enjoy. So I really hope you enjoy today's video of Fill Your Freezer Friday and it gives you some meal ideas. Thanks everyone. I'm firstly starting with a slow cooker chicken recipe. At first I was going to make a butter chicken and I had the jar and everything prepared to make it because it was just going to be quite quick and simple. But as I was reading the jar, it said not to freeze the meal that you're making with the butter chicken. So I thought better of it and I had to quickly make up something else. So I'm just making up my own recipe here basically, and I'm just chopping up 2 red onions. I really like red onions. I always try and lean towards buying these more than the brown onions, and sometimes you can get them cheaper. I just find they've got that really rich sort of a rich winey sort of a taste, and they go really well in like slow cooker meals and salads and things like that. So I find that I find these are a lot more versatile for me and for our family, but I always buy the brown ones as well. They're just a basic sort of thing, but when these are on special, I'll get these. So I'm just going to finely chop up the onion, and I'm going to keep one for another meal that we're going to have tonight. So while I'm already here, I'm going to make a slow cooker chicken, and I'm also going to make our chicken for tonight, which is like a stir fry that we're going to have. So I'll cut up the 2 onions, and then I will halve them and split them between the meals.
Got a dopamine rush, got a major league crush when you're next to me. Got my heart upon my sleeve, can I hide the way I feel when you're next to me, girl? Got the kick in every move, and I fought it's like a fool for you, for you. Wish I knew just what it was, but why should I make a fuss? Just stay next to me, girl, next to me, girl. Something special, don't know why, something special that I like about you, about you. There's a mystery entwined, something bigger to define about you, about you. Am I the only one to see? Got me down on my knees, taken by your gravity. And I just know you got that something special about you. Got me under lock and key, but I don't wanna be free when I'm next to you. You're like honey to a bee, I go crazy for the sweet when I'm next to you, girl. Got the kick in every move, and I fought it's like a fool for you, for you. It might seem that I'm dumb, but it's you that's got me stunned. Stay next to me, girl, next to me, girl. Something special, don't know why, something special that I like about you, about you. There's a mystery entwined, something bigger to define about you, about you. Am I the only one to see? Got me down on my knees, taken by your gravity.
So I'm going to chop up the chicken here. I've got 4 fillets, and I'm just going to divide them between the 2 meals. I'm going to use 2 for the slow cooker recipe and just 2 for the stir fry for tonight. And yeah, I'm just going to cut them into cubes just to make it as small as possible for the kids, and so it cooks a lot quicker. Even though I will be cooking this for the day in the slow cooker, it's the best to do it that way. And also I find that probably thigh is a lot better. It's a lot more tender for the kids. Sometimes breast can be a little bit tough, and sometimes it can't. So it just depends on the cut of meat, I'd say. But if I would have had thigh, I probably would have used thigh for this. But yeah, I'm just going to put this into all the slow cooker mixture that I've put in there. I've sort of put it in first, so I heat it all up. And my cooker doesn't fry things first or anything like that, so I'm just going to put it all in together. And like I said, it'll stay on for about 5-6 hours today. That was more of like a concoction that I made. I just put like chickpeas, as you would have seen. I put olives in it because the kids like olives, some herbs and spices and things like that. But I really wanted to get parsley. I tried to get a big bunch of parsley this week, which I really do like to put into like casseroles and slow cookers, but they didn't have any in stock. So once I chop up this, I will start on the stir fry.
You should see the city lights tonight. I don't think they've ever burned this bright. Did you know when how everything would turn out? We learned to run, we learned to fight.
So that was just a really basic chicken teriyaki I made there. I would usually put ginger in it, like fresh ginger or even the ginger in the jar, but I didn't have any of that. So what I'm doing with this now is I'm going to put it in the fridge and marinate it. It'll look like that I haven't done that because I'm going to put it in the pan in a minute, but I am going to put it in the fridge for a few hours now, probably three or 4 hours, and I'm going to marinate that. So now I'm going to put it into the frying pan after it's being marinated, and I'm just going to cook that up now, and I'll fry it, and I'm going to put some vegetables, a frozen packet of vegetables from Aldi, which we always use. I really love these vegetables. They will just go in with the chicken.
To settle down, day nights and late nights don't get around. But there's something about you I like, about you I like. You're crazy for saying I should slow down, but maybe I'm escaping the love we found.
So I've just boiled rice with this so it makes it go further tonight, and also we've got enough for lunch tomorrow. This is just one of the plates. I also have more on another plate, so it was a really good dish and it goes a fair way. So that's our dinner, and I've also got the slow cooker that I've put into bags now, so that will be in the freezer. This is just the chicken, tomato, olives and chickpeas. I put them into the Aldi Ziploc bags, and I've also put masking tape. That's my thing now. I just use masking tape on Pyrex bowls and storage things for the freezer, just so it peels off really easy. It's easy to write on as well. So I got 3 pretty good meals out of that, and I'll even put rice with that as well, so we'll get a few more out of it. I'm getting started on the meatloaf now. I've decided to make 2 of these for the freezer, one for this week and one for another week. It's a really good idea to try and make 2 batches of something while you're already making one. I know at the time you just don't feel like doing it, but in the long run you'll feel so much better for just putting that extra little bit more time in for cooking it now than having to set up everything again for another time and making the same thing. While I've already got the ingredients, I'm just going to make 2. So it'll just bulk up the freezer a bit, and there's always a meal in there for the family. And this is all I've got left of my parsley from my herb garden. I've had it for so long. This parsley's lasted me about a year and a half, I think, but it's finally just died out, and it's been so hot and dry. So my youngest little boy found a snake behind our garden, and I just really want to take it out now and not have anything around the backyard that things can hide in. It was quite scary because he got quite close to the snake. And so I'm thinking about putting my herbs now in those hanging baskets. If anyone's got any ideas, let me know, because I haven't done this before. I've always just put it like in a garden bed, but I'd just like to do that and maybe hang it from the veranda or hang them from a tree. So now I've cut the parsley up, just chopped up the little bit there. I'm just going to chop up some carrots. Carrots really bulk up meat and make it go further as well. So I'm just going to use 3 grated carrots, and then I'll be cutting up the onions and chopping them up really finely as well. This is a pretty easy recipe. I did tweak the recipe a little bit, but I will put the recipe down below that I kind of followed.
Guess I'm just too scared to settle down. There'd be many nights I got too high and almost left town. But there's something about you I like, about you I like. I get too drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only
So there I've just put in the minced garlic and some mixed herbs. I've also put tomato sauce and Worcestershire, and I also have put Vegemite. I know this is very different. I put a big spoonful of Vegemite in there because it just makes it really rich, and the meat and the onion and all that sort of sticks to the bottom of the pan and makes it really yummy. I love Vegemite in meat patties and meatloaf. So I have just added the breadcrumbs and 2 eggs. As you would have seen, I've used 2 different types of breadcrumbs, a panko breadcrumbs and the normal breadcrumbs. I've just run out of breadcrumbs, so I just sort of used what I had there. And I'm using over 1 kilo of mince here. This is mince from Aldi. And now I'm just going to mix it all up together and try and get all the Vegemite in there and spread it all out. Once I've mixed it all together, I will place it into a lined pan, which I'm using reusable pan liners, which are really good. And and then I'll put it in the oven and I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out.
If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious. Nobody loves me better, yeah. I get too drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious. Nobody loves me better. Nobody loves me better.
A bit high on the feeling, can't seem to focus. In the corner of my best friend's sofa, you were getting buzzed on rum and cola. Wasn't brave enough yet just to talk to you. Not a smooth talker under pressure. Sweaty palms ain't making it much better. Something about you feels so special. Prettier from the minute that I met you. Trying to get your attention, you make me nervous. In the corner of my best friend's sofa, you were getting buzzed on rum and cola. Wasn't brave enough.
I've wrapped them tightly up in alfoil and cling wrap, and I've got these bags that I bought from Kmart last year. They're really good. They're really extra large bags, so I can fit things in like big dinners and things like that. So I usually just put the wrapped up dinners in these big bags. So I've just done my trick again with the masking tape. I just put that on the bag because these are reusable bags, so sometimes it's hard to get the label back off if you just write it on there. It's different if you're using throwaway bags, but I really like the masking tape idea. It stands out, and if I need to pull it off a container, it's easy to do. It comes off really quickly, but it doesn't come off too quickly that it'll fall off in the freezer either. So I've wrapped up these now, and I'm going to place them in the freezer now because they're pretty cool. And so I've got like 2 pretty big dinners here for the family. You know what I mean? Like it's a really good idea to do it this way. And in the afternoons when the kids come home from school, I don't feel like cooking at like 3:30 in the afternoon, which is the worst time to cook dinner, as everyone knows. I can just pull out one of these meatloaves, and I can even put a salad with it or put some peas on the side or just have it plain. And we can even put it on bread, maybe even make like a meatloaf sandwich for lunch. It feels so good to have a few extra meals for the freezer. Now I've just got a big packet of sausages that I got from Aldi. I'm just going to fry these up now, and I'm going to use a few different frying pans because they all don't fit in my small pan here. So I will be using 3 pans at once. I just find it a lot easier. Otherwise, I'm making one batch and then another batch and then the next batch. So I'm just going to do it all at once and just use the 3 frying pans. I'm really lucky that I've got a dishwasher and it's all cleaned out and ready to like put all these pans and dishes in. It really makes it such a big deal when you're cooking. It's the washing up, I think, at the end of it that makes it so monotonous. But yeah, so all I'm doing with these now is I'm just frying them. That's all I'm going to do, and then I'm going to put them in the freezer. We're just going for a bit of a family day at the beach tomorrow, so I'm going to take some sausages with us. And I just thought it was easier to take some sausages and some buttered bread and tomato sauce, and that's going to be our lunch instead of making sandwiches. And the rest of the sausages I'm going to put them in the freezer, and I can just grab a few out when the kids come home from school or on a weekend when they want a sausage each. It just makes it easier. I'm not like putting them all in a container and freezing them at once. I'm just going to put them into small lots.
We just met the other night, but I can't get you off my mind. Not a smooth talker under pressure. Sweaty palms ain't making it much better. Something about you feels so special. Pretty awkward from the minute that I met you.
So I've just packed these into single servings of 4. So there's 4 in our family. So we just got like 1 sausage each if we just want to have it on bread. Just something easy, especially for when the boys get hungry. And I'm just going to pop them in the freezer. Really easy to have, and they'll go along with all the other meals that I'm making today. It's time for baking now. I really like this part when it comes to baking, so I know that my kids have got some homemade goodies in the freezer for when school comes, and I find it just so much easier when I've got a batch of cookies or some cakes or things like that in the freezer, and I can just put them in the lunch boxes. So I'm making a raspberry jam slice, except I'm not making it with raspberry jam. I've made it with strawberry jam. I find sometimes with the raspberry jam, it can have like coarse seeds in it, and the kids don't really like it getting stuck in their teeth and things like that. So I'm using strawberry jam today. And this is a pretty simple recipe, except I did make the base a little bit too thick. I should have used a bigger baking tray. So I've got the recipe down in the description below. But it's plain flour, caster sugar. I'll be using like a cold like cube butter. So you can sort of crumble it up into like a breadcrumb consistency. So I'll add that in, and then I will just mix it up with my fingertips. Then I will add 1 egg and a teaspoon of vanilla. And then I will just mix it all together, and I want to try and get it to the point where it's like a ball of dough. So I'm going to put it onto the baking tray and try and like pat it down into the tray as much as I can. This is the part where I found it quite difficult, and I've used a glass and things like that to roll it out. After lining the tray with the slice, I'm going to now put that in the oven. And while that's baking, I've already got the mixer and everything else out. So now I'm just going to make the banana cake and just get that done while it's cooking and while that's cooling down. And then I can pop the banana cake in as well. So the base of the banana cake is just butter, caster sugar, vanilla, and then I add 1 egg at a time. And then while that's mixing up, I'm going to mash the 3 bananas, and then I will add the bananas to the mixture and just give it a really good mix with like a wooden spoon there. And then I'm going to get some milk, and I'm going to pour the milk into the Pyrex little jug that I love here. And then I'm going to put some bicarb in this milk. And then that will go into the mixture. And then I'll also add self-raising flour. So I've got the slicer out of the oven now, and I've just let it cool down slightly. You still want it warm enough so the jam spreads over it, but not too hot that it just runs everywhere. So it was good just to get that banana cake done while this one was cooling down. So I'm just going to add the jam over the top of it and spread it all the way over. And the ingredients for this is just the jam, coconut, and 2 eggs. I was supposed to put sugar in this as well. A half a cup of sugar was supposed to go into the top of the slice, but instead I put the whole cup in the base. By mistake, I just put it in. So yeah, you are supposed to keep half of this to go with the top of it, but I figured the jam's going to be sweet enough, so we'll just try it like that. And it did work. It worked really nice. The kids really liked it, except the base was just a little bit too crunchy and a bit too thick. But yeah, so now I'm just going to beat up 2 eggs after I've spread the jam out, and I will just put coconut in that, and then I'll spread it all over the top, and then I'll pop that back in the oven again. So I've managed to finish the banana cake and the jam slice is out of the oven. The banana cake's just going to cool down a bit. I've decided to ice it so it's not so dry. At the time of making it, I wasn't quite sure what it had tasted like. Sometimes banana cake can be really dry, but this is a moist banana cake recipe. And my oven isn't the best at the moment, so it's very hard to determine if it's going to come out dry or not, and if I leave it in too long. Even my timer on my oven isn't working, so I'll have to sort of set the timer on my watch. So I'm just going to slice this. I'm just going to slice this jam slice up now, and and then I'm going to put it into cling wrap and then place it into my resealable bags and pop it in the freezer. I'm going to put them into pairs. So I've just got like one slice of a jam slice each for the kids for lunch. So I can just grab out 2 the night before and defrost them. So I'm just going to go ahead now and slice this, and then I'm just going to make a really quick icing for the banana cake.
Even if you tried, you wouldn't understand it. Maybe something's missing inside of you. Just a bit of sugar to that horrid bitter. Maybe you taste different. Hold up, baby. I can sit beside you while you're going on about your simple life. Nothing left you thinking that maybe you're not different. Go on, blow up your ego, your undying ego. Oh, look here he goes, stepping on toes with his humble lacking everlasting ego. I guess it never hit you. Our conversation takes 2, paying it some interest from time to time. Inside all that greatness and all of your adventures, you're all alone. Hold up, baby. I can sit beside you while you're going on about your simple life. Nothing left you thinking that maybe you're not different. Go on, blow up your ego, your undying ego. Oh, look here he goes, stepping on toes with his humble lacking everlasting ego. Oh, here he goes, here he goes, here he goes. Oh, here he goes, oh, here he goes, oh, here he goes, here he goes, here he goes with his humble lacking everlasting ego. Someone hurt your feelings not that long ago, and every bit of you couldn't face the truth that maybe you're just not that nice and humble kind. That would be a lie. Go on, blow up your ego, your undying ego. Oh, look here he goes, stepping on toes with his humble lacking everlasting ego. Oh, here he goes, here he goes, here he goes. Oh, here he goes, oh, here he goes, oh, here he goes, here he goes, here he goes with his humble lacking everlasting ego.
Just put it into the container like this. It should separate and just freeze. Nothing's really going to be stuck together. I've lined it with some greaseproof paper so the icing doesn't get stuck. And I just tried it, it peels off quite nicely. If I throw this now in the freezer, along with my coconut slice, then I've got a little variety of like recess or morning tea things for my boys' lunch boxes, and I'll just rotate these this week. Whatever's left of this, it'll just stay in the freezer, and I'll make another batch next week, and so there'll be new things, and then I can go back to giving them some more of this again in maybe a couple of weeks' time and doing the same thing. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make a couple of cakes a week, or slices, or biscuits, so I can just rotate them and there'll be leftovers in the freezer so they can have some later on as well. So that's my video today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Just give me a thumbs up if you like this sort of videos, because I would like to do this every week. I really want to do the Fill Your Freezer Friday. These videos will be coming out on a Friday. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thanks everyone. Bye.